We are so confused.
It is officially time for a new vision.
Did you?
Okay, cool.
Hold on a second, babe.
A value which cannot be taken away by anyone or anything.
Hey everybody, welcome to A Shonda at Large, where we discuss faith, family, and the future of our community. I want to thank you for joining me once again as I get ready to dissect another issue that is pertinent to our community. But before I get into it, I want to invite you to like as well as to subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. And please be sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be able to get the videos that I do as they come out. So we're going to go ahead and get into it today. I have been noticing over the past couple of weeks there has been an upcharge in discussion concerning the Black home, concerning what we know as the Hebrew home. Y'all who have been following my channel for some time know that my main focus is on building up our homes and our communities. But one of the things that I see that is really disturbing is this back to Egypt push. It's this idea that our lineage comes out of the original Egypt, Misraim, as sons of Ham versus sons of Shem. I hear a lot of people talking about Hotep, which means add peace, or they're talking about Mayet, which is actually a religion. It is an ancient Egyptian religion. This person, Mayet, apparently was the daughter of the sun god Ra. Now, come on, y'all. Come on now. Do we not understand who the sun god Ra is? The sun god Ra is the same god that's on the back of your dollar bill. The one at the top of the pyramid, you know, aka Lucifer, the all-seeing eye. You know, this is the really sad part about us as a people not understanding our identity, not knowing who we are based off of the scriptures. When we read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, it is very clear and apparent that the Most High Yah says that he would send us back to Egypt on ships. There we will be sold as bondmen and bondwomen, and no one will be able to buy us back. He said we're going back to Egypt. That was a part of the curse, to go to Egypt 2.0. And yet our people are pushing this Egyptian bondage upon us. Egypt is bondage, y'all. It's bondage to the Luciferian one world religion, one world mentality that is going to come upon the whole world. We have to understand the roots of who we are truly spiritually in order to be able to set our families free. We cannot set our families free based upon idol worship. Let me say that again. We cannot set our families free based upon idol worship. You see, that's the first and greatest commandment, is that we are supposed to love the Lord, our God, with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength. Okay? We are not to put any gods before him. But when we talk about this Egyptian Ra sun god worship, Mayat culture, we are essentially talking about turning away from the one who truly created us and turning to his nemesis, Satan himself. Now, I'm a little bit of a history buff, and being that I have a large family, I have not been able to dissect history the way I used to, the way I love to. But back when I was really just a brand new believer, didn't have a lot of children, I started to try to understand religion. And one of the things that I saw was a consistency with all empires that fell, before they fell, was feminine God worship. When you make the image of God into a female deity, be it Ashtoreth, be it Diana, be it Marian worship that you see the Catholics do. Now we go to this Mayat. And again, this Mayat character, I'm going to read to y'all what it says in Britannica. It says, Mayat, also spelled Mayat in ancient Egypt religion, the personification of truth, justice, and the cosmic order. The daughter of the sun god Ra, she was associated with Thoth, god of wisdom. The ceremony of judgment of the dead, called the judgment of Osiris, named for Osiris, the god of the dead, was believed to focus upon the weighing of the heart of the deceased in the scale balanced by Mayat, or her hieroglyph, the ostrich feather, as a test of conformity to proper values. In its abstract sense, Mayat was a divine order established at creation and reaffirmed at the accession of each new king of Egypt. In setting Ma'at order in place of Isfat disorder, the king played the role of the sun god, the god with the closest links to Ma'at. Ma'at stood at the head of the sun god's bark as it traveled through the sky and the underworld. See all this death talk, y'all? Although aspects of kingship and of Ma'at were at times subjected to criticism and reformulation, the principles underlying these two institutions were fundamental to ancient Egyptian life and thought and endured to the end of the ancient Egyptian history. Now, I want to help y'all to think about this from a different concept. I was watching a video about this brother, and he's got a lot of great information. He talked about essentially European supremacy and how many of our Hebrew brothers, who of course he says black brothers, hate black women because of the fact that they want to be like their Caucasian counterparts, because they want power. And the way he broke it down was just beautiful. But the problem is here, just go with me real quick as I break this down. Our first captivity was in the physical land of Egypt, dealing with the pharaohs of that day. Now our captivity is dealing with the Caucasian supremacy found throughout the four corners of the diaspora, but specifically here in the United States, this super world power dealing with European supremacy. So we have an epidemic of our men who do not care for us as women because they want to be like the oppressor. The oppressed becomes the oppressor. So since they cannot oppress the oppressor, they then oppress their women. And I thought that breakdown was excellent. But when we think about the fact that us as a people, we want to emulate the oppressor, we want to emulate the things that they do because they hold the seat of power. It is no different than wanting to emulate the seat of power of our first captors, the Egyptians. Now, they were not us. They came from Ham's bloodline. We come from Shem's bloodline. Yet they oppressed us. And now we see a push and a return for us to go back from one oppressor to the next. This is nonsense, y'all. This is utter nonsense, because this is the problem that has plagued our people from one generation to the next, is always trying to be like the nations around us. We can never be content with just having the Most High. Why? Because He is a God that we cannot see, we cannot touch, we cannot put our hands on, we cannot feel Him necessarily unless He makes Himself available for us to feel. But the nations around us, they have all of their idols. They have all their little statues and things that they worship so they can see these gods with their hand. They have their golden calves. Just like when Moses was up there getting the 10 Commandments, you had Aaron, he went and made that false deity, made that golden calf. And because of that, Yah destroyed a number of our people because they said, let's go back to Egypt. Let's have these guys that took us out of Egypt take us right back to Egypt. Now, y'all, we don't have time for this. Do we not understand what time we are in the world today? We're in the place in the world today where the Most High Yah is literally judging the entire earth. He is preparing a people unto Himself, a remnant unto Himself. And yet we have people saying, y'all, we need to get back to family. We need to respect our families. We need to respect our women. We need to respect our communities. And we're going to do it in the name of a false God? Are y'all serious? Y'all, we got to get our real worship back. We've got to know who we really are. This is why we can be everything and anything except who we're supposed to be. Anybody will accept us if we say, oh, we are Egyptologists. They'll accept us if we say we're African American. They'll accept us if we say that we're anything except who we really are as Israelites. Y'all, we have got to get back to the heart of who we are. Because until we understand who we were created to be, until we understand our bloodline identity and understand that we are the children of Judah, till we understand that we serve the Most High Yah and that's who we're supposed to be serving, then I don't care what we try to do. We are just building up a house that is established on a deck of cards. It's just a house of cards that we have, and it's going to blow away. We can prop it up all day long that we want to, but it's not going to work. See, there's an uptake and an increase in homosexuality and feminism in our community because of false god worship, because it's worship of self. Ultimately, Egyptian worship, ultimately, even European supremacy is based and rooted upon self-worship. And this is why our Yah tells us that we are to worship him and put him above all else. But because we don't know who he is, because we don't know who his son is, as a community, we will continue to embrace over sexualization of our females. We will continue to embrace our men turning into homosexuals and turning into effeminate men because we are under false God worship. It is the idolatry of our community that keeps us plagued. It is straight up, at the end of the day, the idolatry will always continue to keep us plagued. Why? Because as long as we are focused on the image, as long as we're focused, whether that image is of a European white Jesus or the image is that of an Egyptian god of the past, we are still putting our focus in the wrong place. And until we turn our eyes upon him whom we really have to deal, we're not going to see our communities change for real. We're not going to see our communities get to a place where there is wholeness and healing. And y'all, we have to have that. We have to have that in order for us to move forward, because he's really coming back for a bride. We're family, and he's coming back for his family without spot or blemish. So if you are embracing Egyptology, if you are embracing this Hotep mentality, this Maya, I see some of our folks got Maya in their names. If you're embracing that nonsense and not embracing our Hebrew heritage, if you're not embracing Yahusha Hamasiach as the Savior and Lord of your life, if you're not doing that, then you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your family's time, because you're engulfing them in idol worship, and all idols will be destroyed. We're at the place and time where he is allowing all of us to be tried and tested. And anything that is not silver or gold, if it is wood, stubble, or hay, it will be burned up. So I'm telling you right now, burn your idols before they burn you. Burn all of that nonsense. Stop engulfing yourself in false religion and thinking at the same time that you're going to build healthy, strong Hebrew families, because you can't do both. You can't have it both ways. You can't ride the fence. I am totally in support of Hebrew families growing and being all that we are called to be. But this black power thing where we will accept anything and everything but the truth, y'all could save that, because I don't want no part of it. Those are my thoughts. I thank you for tuning in to Ashanda at Large. Let me know what yours are. Please drop it in the comment section below. Have you embraced this Hotep Egyptology mindset, or do you know people who have? And what have you seen come out of that community in terms of building us up as a people? Or are you like, hey, I get it. I see that this is idolatry and we need to turn away from it. Let me know either way how you feel in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. As always, I ask you to like, share, and subscribe if you have not already done so. And as always, love yourself without hating your enemies. And until next time, Yah bless and Salamah.